In this lesson, we're going to be subtracting integers. With subtracting integers, we're actually going to look at a couple different methods. And the first method we want to use is that we're going to identify the integers and combine by using addition. Another way of saying that we're going to change it from a subtraction problem to an addition problem that we've already worked on. Let's look at example 1. We have 4 minus 8. If we were to identify the separate integers, we have a 4 and we have a minus 8. We can actually combine those and call addition by saying 4 plus or combined with the negative 8. And this is the way the problem looked yesterday. 4 plus negative 8. And again, if we use our number line, here we are at 4. So we start at positive 4, and then we have to go back negative 8. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we end up here at negative 4. So 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Let's look at another example. If we are at negative 2 minus 4, again, it is a subtraction problem. But if we were to identify the separate integers, we have a minus 2, and we also have a minus 4. We can call this an addition problem and just rewrite it as negative 2 combined with or plus a negative 4. I'll put it in parentheses to separate this negative from that positive. And again, on the number line, 0, and then our, let's call that 1, 2, and then we have all our negatives. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and so on. Okay, if we start at 0, it tells us to go negative 2. So here we are at negative 2. And then we're going to add another negative 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And here we are at negative 6. So negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. It looks like a subtraction problem, and it is a subtraction problem, but negatives always go to the left. Or if you're subtracting, you go to the left. So minus 2 minus 4 puts you at negative 6. That's what it looks like to identify them as separate integers, the minus 2 and the minus 4, and then combine them. Now let's look at another method. Here's the method where we're going to use the rule that we've learned, keep, change, change. We're going to change it to an addition problem by keeping the original integer, changing it to addition by making the second integer its opposite value. Let's take a look at one of those examples. Here is 8 minus negative 4. This one looks a little funny. So we are going to change it to addition by using our rule of keep, change, change. We're going to keep the 8, change it to addition by changing this from a negative 4 to a positive 4, and it becomes a very simple problem of 8 plus 4, which everyone understands. 8 plus 4 is 12, and that's your answer. Okay. Let me try to explain why we have an 8 minus negative 4. Let's say you're in a building, okay, and your friend is on the 8th floor and you're on the 4th floor, and you wanted to figure out how far apart you were. you would find the difference, and the difference would be 8 minus 4. Okay? But let's say you're in another building and you're on the 8th floor, but this building has floors below the ground. So we would identify this floor down here as -4. Okay, but if your buddy was at -4 floor and you were at the 8th floor and you wanted to find out how far apart you were, you'd find the difference again, but that difference would be 8 minus -4. So you're trying to figure out how far apart you are, and you end up with the 8 floors here from the ground up, and then from the ground down to the -4th floor, you add those 8 plus 4, and you end up with 12. It's keep, change, change, and equals 12. You're 12 floors apart. That's what it looks like to have an 8 minus -4. Now let's look at one more example. Here we have a -4 minus -12. Let's just use our rule there, or our keep, change, change. -4 plus, and that becomes +12. We don't have to really write the +12. It's -4 plus 12. Now, this is an addition problem from yesterday. We have 4 negatives. We'll call these our negatives. And we have 12 positives. And of course, these negative and positives cancel each other out. And you're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positives, and your answer is 8. You may also notice that this problem, -4 plus 12, can be read as 12 minus 4. And that equals 8 as well. So there's a couple different ways that we can use subtraction, or we can change subtraction to addition with integers.